Okay, y'all, I really want to wrap up this book by the end of week. So we're gonna do a little bit of immersive reading. I have the audiobook for it, so that will help me breeze through this. And then I'll probably switch over to the other mothers towards the evening. So let's have a little reading sesh with Archer's voice. I'm 59% into the book. I've been using this MP3 player just for the extra battery and for the storage. I'm able to access all of the same apps for all of my audio. I strictly use this for audio, so it's been great. I am a little bit into chapter 22. I'm starting on page 214, and I want to read for about an hour. Let's read through and make some progress on this book. And then we will move to our next book later on in the evening.
I whispered breathlessly, I dreamed this, Archer. I dreamed of you and me, just like that. Thankful for the air in my lungs and the sunshine on my back and the beautiful man in my arms. Right here with you. He smiled that sweet smile that made my stomach quiver. I let out a breath. He raised his hands and sighed, "You're an asshole, Travis." I laughed nervously and looked over at Travis.
Okay, y'all, just a mini update. I think I'm about 20 pages in, and I'm so curious. For those of you who have read the book, you'll understand, but if you haven't, this is following Bree and Archer. These are the two main characters, and they've dealt with tragedy. They have different experiences. Bree is having a moment where things are about to come to light for her, but she also has decided that she's going to be staying in this town that was supposed to be a quick getaway from something tragic in her hometown. I'm very happy for her. I feel like things are really trending positively. I just can't wait to see how this ends, because I'm like, is it gonna be a happy ending? I don't know. I'm confused because things have been going well for some time now, and I'm almost expecting something to happen. It just has my brain working a little bit. I shouldn't be expecting anything bad to happen, but part of me feels like it is. Okay, we have 20 more minutes left to read. Let's see how this goes.
Trust me. Don't you think he deserves for someone to be on his side for once in his life? Don't you think he deserves for someone to root for him rather than competing against him? Couldn't you try to be that person and throw a pot of hot coffee in his face?
Bree is a little spunky. I like her. She's a little firecracker. We stopped at page 252. Bree is heading back to Ohio. She has some personal things to take care of, and her friends have come to get her. This is the first time Archer is dealing with a different dynamic with Bree. Archer is also showing a different side of his personality. It's interesting to see how things are shifting, because it's just been the two of them in a very controlled environment. And I think when there are other things happening that are different for Archer, it's interesting to see how his character behaves. That feels like the big takeaway from this read so far. Let's see how it continues. Hey y'all, I'm headed back to the library and I need to return this book, It Ends With Us. I'm going to pick up a new Abby Jimenez book. I'm so excited because that'll be my second book. But I wanted to give y'all some quick thoughts about Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. There is a movie out already, and that's really what motivated me to start reading this book. A good friend recommended it. This is a romance hitting on many different topics. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. You have a lot going on with character development. There are some triggers with domestic violence and dealing with trauma from domestic abuse. So if that is a triggering topic, I want to flag that. There are complex characters. If that's something you're into, there are different layers to these characters. It's dealing with trauma, self-love, and acceptance. This is categorized as a romance. Overall, I'd give this maybe like a 4.2. There were complications. It was not simple. You know, it felt raw and real. It's definitely a pretty emotional book, but there are like traumatic scenes that you could really visualize, which I give a lot of credit to Colleen Hoover, because you feel like you're there. It does feel like a movie. I'm interested to pick up the second book for this, which is pretty uncommon for myself. Like, I'm not a big series person. I like standalone books usually, and I have to be really invested to pick up the second book. So I definitely would recommend it. Alright, y'all, so just got back. I had to make my return for It Ends With Us, and I have picked up 2 books. This one was on hold. This is Abby Jimenez. It's called Yours Truly. Her writing is good enough for me to continue to the second book of her series. I think it's a 3-part series. It says, after a terrible meat disaster, one random act of kindness changes everything. And this is actually following Bree, one of the characters in the previous book. All I know is that the first book had me cracking up. It was so funny, and so I'm just like, give me more of that. Give me 14 of them. Come on, let's do it. So that's one book that I've picked up. Here is the other book I picked up called All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This was a pick within the local book club that I'm a part of, and we had all decided that we wanted to pick a genre within psychological thriller. Let me give you all a little snippet on what this is about. A year ago, Isabel Drake's son Mason was taken out of his crib in the middle of the night. Isabel cannot rest until Mason is returned to her, except for the occasional cat nap or small blackout where she loses track of time. She hasn't slept in a year. In hopes of jarring loose a new witness or a buried clue, she agrees to be interviewed by a true crime podcaster. But his incessant questioning paired with her severe insomnia has brought up uncomfortable memories from her childhood, making Isabel start to doubt her recollection of the night of Mason's disappearance, but she is determined to figure out the truth no matter where it leads. That should be interesting. Let's see how that goes. These are my 2 additional books that I have picked up. When I get back home, the books that I absolutely want to get through, which y'all will see later in the reading vlog, I need to finish Archer's Voice, and I also have been reading The Other Mothers. We're definitely going to finish Archer's Voice, and I'll tell y'all what I think about that book. I think we'll start up All the Dangerous Things after. I feel like I need to switch it up. My mood is telling me I want to kind of shift away from romance for a little bit. So that's probably what we'll do. Archer's Voice, and then we might crack this baby open. Okay, cool. All right, I'll catch y'all in the reading portion of this video. We are 90% into Archer's Voice, so I would like to finish this book and wrap up with a quick review on this. So let's get into it.
And that's when his face broke into the most beautiful smile I've ever seen, and I linked to his arms, crying and gasping against the crook of his neck.
Relief of the weight of her in my arms. My Brie. I missed her so desperately. I thought I'd die without her those first few weeks. But I hadn't died. I had so much to tell her. So much to share with her.
Let's talk about Archer's Voice. Oh my gosh. The first thing I will say is there's a lot of depth to the characters. If you're into character development, you'll enjoy this. It's a small town romance. It is very emotional. So even though it's a romance, it has a lot of sadness to it as well. If you are not into sad romances, this may not be for you. But I think if you are someone who enjoys an emotional journey, this will definitely give that. It's also a slow burn where you're following friendship, which then turns into a romance. So it's really sweet. Archer is just so innocent and pure. Bree is also such a likable character. They have different traumas they have experienced. Their communication and love for each other really just trumps it all. There's a lot of backstory on each of them, which helps you understand the characters. I think I would give this a 4.5. I thoroughly enjoyed all of it. There were just some moments where I felt like I wanted to hear more of Archer's point of view. It's very heavily giving Bree's point of view, and I understand why. Once you get to know Archer a little bit more and his background, you can see that this is probably intentional. Still had such a great time with this book. 4.5 for me. I think it's pretty damn good. I would recommend checking this out. If you liked It Ends With Us, like that type of emotional roller coaster type of vibe. Not to say that this is anything similar to it. I could see that if you liked that book, you may like Archer's Voice as well. So that's my thoughts on it. I think I'm probably gonna close out this vlog here. I do need to finish The Other Mothers and the next 2 reads, because that's probably where I'll pick up in my next video, just to give y'all updates. Let me grab the next books so that way y'all know what to expect an update on. Okay, y'all, I'm back. All right, so these are the 3 books that I'm hoping to talk to y'all about in my next video. I'd already started this one, which is The Other Mothers, and this one is definitely a psychological thriller. It's starting to feel like a little bit of a mystery, solving a case of a murder. I'm about 13% into this book. Let's see how it goes. It was recommended by a friend. Feeling good about this one. I'm really excited about this next one. This is called Hidden Pictures. I don't want to butcher the writer's last name. Jason Hidden Pictures. Me and my good friend are reading this one together, and I'm hoping to be done with this by the end of November. If I can upload my next video by then, I hope to have a solid update on this book. So be on the lookout. And then last book, called All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This should be interesting. It falls into the genre of psychological thriller. I believe it's about a woman trying to get details about her missing child. Definitely interested to dive into this one as well. So that's just a sneak preview of all the books that I'm hoping to read in the month of November. And hopefully there's a few more that are not accounted for that I can share with y'all as well. I hope y'all have a great reading month ahead, and let me know what y'all are reading below in the comments as well. Can't wait to see y'all in the next video. Bye.